People is a weekly series celebrating 250 years of the United States and the stories that led us to where we are today. This week, WBKO reporter Adam Ferguson hits the railways to learn how trains once provided transportation and jobs to the region. All aboard!
In the modern era, Americans typically use cars to get from point A to point B, but not that long ago, before cars existed, trains like the one I'm sitting in currently were one of the most common ways to make long-distance travel a reality. In Bowling Green, Kentucky, railroad history dates back as far as 1836 with the Bowling Green Portage Railroad, which would bring freight and passengers from Barren River directly to the old courthouse downtown. And in 1859, the first iteration of the L&N Depot opened, creating a direct route from Louisville to Nashville, making Bowling Green an important stop in between.
The Louisville-Nashville rail line actually dates all the way back to pre-Civil War, when there was a time when the line was not going to come through Bowling Green. It was actually going to go through Glasgow, Kentucky. There have been 3 train depots in Bowling Green. The original depot was burned during the Civil War, and then there was a small depot that was here for a few years while they waited for something more exciting to happen.
That time came in 1925 when the current L&N Depot building was constructed, serving as the heart of all rail operations in the city for the next several decades and creating a number of jobs for local residents.
It was a big deal for your family to have someone who worked in the rail lines. There was a time when, you would go to work for the railroad at the young age of 17 or 18, and you would work with them until you were in your 60s. The Pullman porters, the conductors, the engineers, there's a lot of interesting stories about those people, the work that they did, the pride that they took in their jobs.
One position of note were railway post office clerks who would sort and transport mail in a dedicated railway mail car. They would use a hook to collect mail bags from poles as the train continued down the track and then sort the mail while en route to the next destination. It was a demanding position that would sometimes put them face to face with criminals looking for a quick payday.
People would rob trains because they knew if they could rob that train, there would be a lot of cash and a lot of items that were being sent through the mail service.
As the decades passed, a new form of travel began to dominate, with Americans trading the railway for the open road.
Once we got into the 40s and 50s and they were able to really mass produce and start to make cars somewhat affordable for people, then the average American family could afford to buy a car. And once they could do that, they no longer had to travel by rail to take a vacation or to go visit family. They could hop in the car and go do that. And so that really changed the way that the rail lines were used for passengers.
The drastic shift in the way Americans traveled led to less and less people utilizing the railway, and in 1979, passenger service ended at the L&N Depot altogether. The building then sat neglected for decades and was facing demolition when a group of Bowling Green citizens came together and rescued the depot, turning it into a museum that is now celebrating 100 years of railroad history. While train travel isn't as common as it once was, it's still a vibrant part of American culture. Reporting in Bowling Green, Adam Ferguson, WBKO News.
Thanks, Adam. The Rail Park will celebrate its 100-year anniversary with an event called Rail Park Rendezvous, where guests will step back into the Roaring '20s, enjoy cocktails, plus dance and sing along with dueling pianos. All proceeds from the event and silent auction will go towards the preservation and continued restoration of the museum.